Hi, Mochismo Eugene. Welcome to another video from Exit Strategy. Please like, subscribe, share, and give a thumbs up if you found this video helpful, and pass it along if you think someone else would benefit from it. I'd appreciate that. The story of David and Goliath. You have to understand, a narcissist needs a cheerleading squad. Let's say, for example, you're doing a one-on-one engagement with a narcissist. This is probably when you woke up. It was just you and the narcissist. No one else was around. And you know they abuse you behind closed doors in isolation. No one sees what you see. So that's ironic in itself, but follow with me. David and Goliath, if you notice the story, David said, "Today God would be with me and I will have your head." He paid homage to God Almighty. Goliath looked back or looked around for the cheering squad, and he laughed and chuckled, pretty much saying, "This little runt, this little midget of a man thinks he can beat me." So he was looking at his stature in comparison to David in size. And he also was looking at his defeats prior to David. And he conquered many other people and opponents that were much, much larger than David. So he was measuring his victories by size. He was measuring his victories by his size. So he felt because he was bigger, taller, stronger, that he would essentially secure the victory. But most importantly, those are not the things that he had confidence in. The confidence that Goliath had was within those people that gave him confidence. They're the ones who boosted him up. A narcissist needs a booster seat, pretty much. Like you go to a restaurant and you got a little kid, that's what a narcissist is. You have to put them in the booster seats. They don't sit in normal seats like you and I. This is a play on words, but just follow me in an analogy of narcissists are childlike in their very nature. It doesn't matter how big they look as adults. They look like adults. They look full grown in appearance, but their mentality, their spiritual weakness is that of a 3-year-old. Now, you must get this, guys, because this is paramount for you understanding that that person you've been married to for 20, 25 years, that person you have been in a relationship for 5, 10 years, that mother that has been in your life since you've been in this world, that father that has saw you through all of your sports events. But now you're looking back at the fact that this was his dream, not yours. Many times a narcissist will use their children to relive or live through their children. In all cases, if you're that golden child. But guess what about the golden child? They don't even love you the most. They don't love you more than they love themselves. They don't love themselves. They love the very fact that they can garner attention, adulation, and admiration as a result of pretending to support you. And so when the narcissist like Goliath was being cheerleaded by these people, this is what really gave him strength. But it was a false confidence, because when you find your confidence in other people cheering you on and you can't find it within, if you can't find it within, or you can't find it within God, who's giving you the strength from within, people around you can motivate you to your detriment. We use the word boosting you up, gassing you up. Be mindful, empath, chosen ones, awaken. Looking back, we were boosted up. We were gassed up. We had these abilities. We had these giftings. We just didn't understand that we were very aware of our giftings, and we had a fair idea of our abilities, but we were humbled by these abilities. until the narcissists and the minions and the cheerleaders came along. They amped up what was already in us, most often because they wanted to be the reason for the season. They wanted the glory. They wanted all the bells and the whistles to be given to them. They wanted you to look at them as the reason why you have and possess these abilities. You see how that works? So the biggest demise of Goliath was the fact that he was looking at other people for his strength. He was looking for other people to amp him up, to give them the confidence that he didn't have. He had a false confidence. His confidence was within him and for his exteriors. Well, that wasn't even within his exterior abilities, his exterior stature. He was so concentrated on how big he was and looking at his past accomplishment, because what he did, he preyed on people's fears. Most of the time, the bully is more afraid of you than you are of him. And the reason why he's a bully, because it's something that you have that scares him, that reflects back to him, his insecurities. And so they target you because they see something good in you, and you are a reflection. You are a mirror that shows them how bad they are. Because most often you're probably getting attention of people around you, admiration in a real way. And so Goliath ends up, you know the story, he ends up being defeated by a stone from a slingshot. He didn't anticipate that. Hit him right in the center of the head. And it's ironic, the stone, Christ is the cornerstone. He says without that cornerstone, the building can't stand. It'll be unstable. You got to be mindful of where you put your faith and where you put your confidence, because you know what? It's not in you. It's not in other people around you. Although these abilities and attributes I just said that you possess, they came from Almighty God. So I guess it breaks down to humility. Humility is what will get you to the finish line. Maybe not quicker, but it will get you there. It will get you there in a beautiful way, because you're not in a competition. The narcissists are in competition with you. They're in competition with people who are not even in competition with them. You know, in sports, it's competitive, but many times this is not even a competition called life. We're all living our own individual lives. And what we're actually doing as empaths and chosen ones, we want everyone to win. Narcissist doesn't. He doesn't want anyone else to win. Doesn't matter how much you train. It will always be, I want to think of this girl that got her boyfriend to use the pipe to hit this girl, Nancy Kerrigan, on the ankle so she could get knocked out of the competition in the Olympics. Tanya Harding. See, people don't remember that, but I do. Tanya Harding was a narcissist, and she gassed her boyfriend up to do her bidding, hit that girl on the ankle right before her competition to go out and ski, because she lacked the confidence, and the false confidence she had wouldn't allow her to go out there on her own merit. So she maimed this girl, caused her to get hit with that pipe or whatever it was, and she ended up getting thrown out and disqualified from the Olympics. Her boyfriend went to jail for doing her bidding. And if you know the story of Tanya Harding, I don't know where Nancy Kerrigan is right now. I'm sure she's probably doing well in life. But Tanya Harding went on to be on Celebrity Rehab, and she ballooned and gained a ton of weight, just wasn't doing well at all, got on drugs, just was a hot mess. You probably remember her on the segment where they had Dennis Rodman and a few other people. So this is just being highlighted because I'm trying to show you where when people do bad things to other people, and these people are good and don't mean them no harm, karma is a patient gangster, and it will collect. It will come back to collect. And so with David and Goliath, that story, it was the false confidence he had, but it's the confidence that people gave him. They amped him up, they boosted him up, boosted his head up. And so a lot of times a narcissist will use other people to champion them on, but the people who are championing the narcissist on, they're actually in hopes of both of you getting destroyed. Because say if it's a fight, they just are in hopes that both of you go to jail, because a lot of people are just sick and tired of the narcissist always causing problems, but they're too coward to say so. And instead of them taking sides with you, or the one that's not even causing any harm or chaos, they are afraid of the narcissist. So they pretend to champion for the narcissist. So they look at you as the weaker. They have a lot more to overcome, and the fear that the narcissist might clap back at them. And this is what a lot of us are doing. Even some of you empaths that are not awakened all the way out of this matrix type of thinking. You are somewhere now, somehow or another, you are endorsing the narcissist. And I've made videos about this before. If you are not directly involved in the thing the narcissist is doing for someone else's demise, if you are included in any kind of way, or if you're endorsing any kind of way, or a partaker of that thing, you are just as much guilty as they are. And a lot of times your silence picks a side, because your silence, if you're in that capacity, whereas that narcissist feels like you are endorsing them, say the workplace, you may say, well, you know, it's not none of my business, but I will tell you what is your business. You don't have to be a partaker. You don't have to be in that space. Remove yourself from that space. Leave that room empty. And you may say, well, I don't have the capacity to do that. I got to do this. I got to do that. You can make excuses all you want, but I'm going to show you something. A lot of times looking back, you know within your heart that there was capacities that you were in conjunction with that narcissist. And you knew that this thing was continually going. And then when something finally popped off, it made you feel some kind of way. You know why you felt some kind of way? Because within yourself, you know that there was much more you could have done. Maybe not directly to make that problem go away, but you could have removed yourself and disassociated with that entity. You could have cleared the room. You could have made space between you and that chaos. And what that does is you leave the narcissist there standing by himself. Can you imagine if Goliath looked around and nobody was cheering and championing him on? I think he would have tucked his tail between his leg and ran. As big as he was, he would have ran like a big baby. And that's what you do as an empath, chosen one, awakened. We make the demons flee. There's a passage in the Bible where David is compared to Saul, and it will go down in history. It will never be unwritten. It said David slew 10,000 to Saul's 1,000. David slew 100,000 to Saul's 10,000. Something to that degree. And so everywhere you see the victories of Saul, you see the victories of David compounded times threefold, sevenfold. Why? Because David's dependence was on God. Saul at some point lost his dependence on God, and he became self-sufficient. So the only way you're going to win with the narcissist in this world is you have to have God on your side. And see, the thing was, David was looking for background noise. When you empaths and chosen ones who have a firm foundation in God, God is the forerunner in this fight against evil. That being said, bless.